watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Today, the rivalry is pushed to the side, and united we stand indeed as we honor the people that were killed and injured in the Boston Marathon bombings yesterday as the flags at the stadium fly at half-staff. Tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton and Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees had yesterday off. On Sunday, they finished up a three-game set against the Orioles. They had to win that game. That was a rubber game, and they took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore, and Brett Gardner delivered a big blow in the game. In
the fifth inning, the Yankees scored all of their runs, the last 2 coming on this home run from Brett Gardner. It came off a way-in chant. In fact, he takes him way out off the foul pole in right field, and the Yankees were on their way to a 3-0 win and 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles.
Now let's look now at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup for the Diamondbacks. Former Oakland Athletic Brandon McCarthy goes up against Ivan Nova. They both have the identical records. And Al, one thing that Nova's trying to do is bounce back from a bad second half last year and a bad first start this season.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. Ivan Nova, any pitcher in baseball from Little League on up to the major leagues, it's about throwing strikes, but it's about quality strikes. Watching Ivan Nova, and you see this little rip here in his one start. He had a start missed. So this 11 days it'll be since this start against Detroit. His first pitch strike ratio was 38%. That is not good. League average in Major League Baseball is about 59. He needs to get ahead more to be successful.
Now, yesterday for the New York Yankees, it was, and all of Major League Baseball, was Jackie Robinson Day. In 1947, on April 15th, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. And, Kenny, it wasn't only an important day in sports history, it was an important day for this country as well.
Changed a lot of attitudes. In fact, Jackie Robinson was the leader of the Dodgers when you go back to the late 40s and the early 50s. The Yankees and the Dodgers in an 8-year period met 6 times in the World Series. This is Jackie Robinson stealing home in the 55 World Series. By the way, that's the only one they were able to defeat the Yankees. They did it in 7 games. But Jackie Robinson changed a lot of attitudes in this country and gave everybody a chance to play Major League Baseball.
And there's his resume. April 15, 1947 at Ebbets Field, he integrated Major League Baseball. That year he won the Rookie of the Year. He went on to become a 6-time All-Star. In 1949, he was the National League MVP. Look at the numbers. And in 1962, he was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Because the Yankees were off yesterday, today the Yankees and the Diamondbacks honor Jackie Robinson Day. Everybody in uniform today wears number 42. That number is not to be worn throughout baseball. The last active player to wear it, because he was grandfathered in, obviously Mariano Rivera. And once he retires, which will be at the end of this year, no one will ever wear 42 again except on April 15th of each season, which would commemorate Jackie Robinson Day. And Kenny, obviously, you had met Jackie Robinson when you were a young player, and he meant a lot to you.
I met him in 1973. I was playing for the Montreal Expos, and of course, before Jackie came to the Brooklyn Dodgers, he played for the Montreal Royals, and they won the championship in 1946. The Dodgers called him up to the big leagues in 47, and the rest is history. He was, as you said, the Rookie of the Year, 2 years later, the MVP, and certainly an American icon.
And Al, it was important that Major League Baseball decided to retire his number, because I think for a time there, a lot of young players didn't even know who Jackie Robinson was, and this makes them very well aware.
You know what, Michael, you're exactly right. I think baseball, without a doubt, what they have done with the retiring of his jersey through all-out baseball and this special day every year to commemorate him. I love the fact that present-day players, even if they're ignorant to who he was, they have to know. And I think that barrier that was broken many years ago is fresh in the mind of these players, and it is a good thing. This generation of players to understand the history of not only this sport, but what went on in this country.
And as we said, it's not just a sports moment, it is a national moment for this country as well, as we became more tolerant and more integrated as well. You see the New York Yankees taking the field, and they're going to have a moment of silence here at the stadium for the victims in Boston. So let's join the PA announcer at the stadium, Mr. Paul Olden.
Move your caps. At this time, we would like to take a moment to remember former New York Giants player and legendary NFL broadcaster Pat Summerall. who passed away this afternoon. Summerall played in the NFL for 10 seasons with the Chicago Cardinals and the New York Giants, including the famed 1958 NFL championship game played across the street where the original Yankee Stadium once stood. After retiring, he would call NFL games for more than 40 years and was part of 16 network television broadcasts of Super Bowls. Pat Summerall was 82 years old. Thank you. Now, please remain standing for a moment of silence as we remember the tragic victims of the senseless act of violence during the Boston Marathon yesterday. To mourn those lives lost, President Obama directed by proclamation this morning that flags be flown at half-staff. Now, please join us in a moment of silent prayer for those that lost their lives, for the injured, and for all of their families, friends, and athletes, and all the citizens of Boston that were affected by this horrible tragedy. Thank you. As an additional tribute to the Boston community tonight, we will play the song Sweet Caroline, a Fenway Park tradition, at the end of the third inning. Now, please remain standing for Robert Merrill's rendition of our national anthem.
For the road was we were, was
The Diamondbacks, a lineup, they are 8-4 on the season. This is what Kirk Gibson's put together. Gerardo Parra is the center fielder who'll lead off, batting second, and playing second, Martin Prado. Paul Goldschmidt is the first baseman, who third. Miguel Montero will catch and clean up. Batting fifth, playing right field, Cody Ross. Eric Chavez, the third baseman, bats sixth. Batting seventh and DHing, Eric Hinsky. A.J. Pollock is the left fielder who'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is Cliff Pennington. So here is Parra, beginning of a 3-game interleague set. Obviously, the Yankees hosting the Diamondbacks will be the only time this year. Parra 4 for his last 27. He digs in. He's ready. Nova's ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is up and away, and we are underway.
Parra is a very versatile outfielder, can play all 3 outfield positions.
Shows bunt, takes a strike. Count 1-1.
A couple of years ago, he won a Gold Glove, primarily as a left fielder for these Diamondbacks.
One. Fly ball left field. Vernon Wells is there, 1 down.
Let's take a look at Ivan Nova on the mound here. Only 1 start. He's missed his last start. So this 11 days will be interesting to see how he does with the extra rest. Let's take a look at the pitch scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. I said about needs fastball command. There's a difference between walking guys and missing in the zone. When he has better command, quality pitches, he pitches a good ball game. Double trouble, way too many extra base hits. 87 extra base hits last year. He tied Ian Kennedy, former Yankee, for Major League Baseball. And focus on every pitch. You hear it often, every pitcher in baseball anywhere. Every pitch matters, and I think he gets a little careless. Of those extra base hits last year, 28 of them, 8 of them were home runs.
Pitch to Martin Prado is outside. Prado came over from the Braves in the deal for Justin Upton. And they said he's a clubhouse changer. He is a great influence in that clubhouse, and the Braves were sorry to let him go, but they knew they had to get a talent like Justin Upton, who's gotten off to a great start. So have the Braves.
Prado's a good average hitter. There's Kirk Gibson, his 3rd full year managing these Diamondbacks. Prado's playing second base tonight. Now, they traded for him to play third base, but Aaron Hill has gone on the disabled list with a broken left hand. He was hit by a pitch, so Prado moves over to second. There's the deal that Michael was talking about.
Count 2-2.
Well, Kenny, you mentioned about a 300 hitter last year. That's what Martin Prado had done. And I think about this ball club. We're going to get a chance to talk about these next 3 days. Gritty, fundamentally sound, scrappy. It almost, you could say that about almost every one of these hitters, and it has become the mantra of this team to take on the personality of their manager.
There's a base hit to right field. So Prado with a single with 1 out. Let's take a look at the defense behind Ivan Nova. You've seen some of the defenders already, so we'll start with Vernon Wells at 11. Brett Gardner in center and Ichiro Suzuki over on right. In the infield, it's Euclid, Nunez, Cano, and Overbay. That's third to first. Chris Stewart gets start behind the plate. Ivan Nova is on the mound. And that's going to bring up big Paul Goldschmidt. Off to a good start. 348, 2 homers and 10 ribbies, including 5 doubles. There's a strike. Tom Hallion is the home plate umpire.
Here's another example, Michael, of the type of player that Kevin Towers, the general manager, along with Kirk Gibson, the manager, would like. This is a guy that really exemplifies that gritty, take the extra base, go the other way, give yourself up. I really like Paul Goldschmidt.
Little slow ground ball to Cano. He misses the tag, fires to first, and they get 1 out as Prado advances to second.
Well, Al, I heard you describe the gritty type of player. This might be a little bit of that as Prado avoids the tag. Cano quickly fires the first to get Goldschmidt. But when I think of a gritty, intense type ball player, I think of Kirk Gibson. That's exactly the way he played it. during his years with the Detroit Tigers and with the Dodgers when he was the MVP in 1988. I don't know if there was a more intense player than Kirk Gibson in the American League back in the early 80s.
I'm with you. And I think there's no doubt about it. His stamp of the way he expects players to play, you're going to see a lot of versatile players, a lot of players that can play different positions and play the game right. I mean, that's all they kept talking about, speaking with the coaching staff and Gibby before the game.
Here's Montero. Pitches high. 1-0.
Montero is the all-time games caught leader for his position with the Diamondbacks. He's been there 8 years now. There's no other catcher in the major leagues could make that claim that he's the all-time games leader in catching for his ball club. So he's been a staple just about every single day. Good solid hitter, led the team in runs batted in last year. Catcher batting fourth. Solid ball player.
Both sides of the baseball. I agree with you, Kenny. First time he's made an all-star team last year.
Count 1-2. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Nice night here at the stadium. 60 degrees, 70% humidity. Wind is 16 miles per hour. And the forecast is for partly cloudy.
Yeah, I was watching that start that Nova made in Detroit. Sitting in my easy chair listening to John and Michael. And Nova made too many. I don't know if Michael agrees. He made too many pitches in the middle of the plate that day. And I think each and every inning the leadoff hitter got on. So that spells trouble. He's going to have to get away from that.
A 1-2. Well, Al kind of touched on it, Kenny. He throws strikes, but you could throw a strike and you could miss your location by 17 inches. It could still be a strike.
Yep.
He's just throwing bad strikes.
Yeah, control is one thing. The control is getting the ball over the plate. Command is putting it where you want to put it. And I talked to Larry Rothschild prior to the game, and he said Nova had a good side session. He threw the ball well, hit his spots better. We'll see if it works out in the game tonight.
Fastball is high, 2-2.
And I think the frustrating thing too, Michael, as Yankee fans, a couple of years ago, 16-4 with a 3.7 ERA, and last year, bad year with the 5 ERA. You know, you come to expect when you see a young arm like Ivan Nova showed, especially a couple of years ago. You know, you just start doing the wow factor of what this guy could do and where he would sit in a rotation. And stuff-wise, when he's on, to me, he's a solid 3.
This is a key hitter for him in this inning. You want to get Montero out because you want to get out of here with less than 20 pitches. If he faces another hitter, he's probably going to go over 20.
This will be pitch number 17, 3-2 with a runner on second, 2 outs. And he walks him. So he does not get Montero, now has to deal with Cody Ross. Now, one of the things that's a little frustrating about Nova, he's a really good guy. But when he performs poorly as he did in the start in Detroit and in the second half last year, you talk to him after the game, he tells you how well he pitched. And, that's not pitching well, not lasting 5 innings, no matter how you cut it. And you don't know if it's lost in translation or whatever, but he's got to realize when he's not pitching well. There's a strike.
You're so right, Michael, and I get it, having pitch to where you could justify some of the what ifs during a game, but at the end of the day, bottom line, it's about winning and losing. It's about not giving up runs. It's not about the what ifs or the bad breaks. Everybody gets those.
The 0-1. 0-2. That's a good pitch right there.
He's made 2 good pitches to Ross. Started him off with a good breaking ball down and away, and he throws him another one. 2 in a row. 2 little sliders. Ross is up there following a walk, thinking he's going to get a fastball, and he gets 2 good breaking balls down and away. You know what? I'd try to lead him across to the other batter's box right here, just one a little further away, see if he'll chase it.
The 0-2. 1-2.
Yeah, as I'm thinking along with you, Kenny, you get the curveball strike, and then he throws a nice slider, thinking fastball up and in, maybe miss to just change the eyesight. But you're right. I mean, if you got a guy that, especially with lack of command at this time, you don't want to miss with a pitch that Cody Ross is a pretty good fastball hitter.
Yeah, he's just coming off the disabled list, though. He's been out with a calf strain, so he doesn't have a batting average as of yet.
There's that high fastball up and in, setting up the curveball or slider down the way.
Not like working with pitchers. They can kind of tell you what's coming. I wish I'd known this years ago.
Here comes the slider. Let's see. Now the double up inside is always a good thing if you got a guy thinking along with you.
The 2-2. Strike 3. Caught Ross looking. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Diamondbacks nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Brandon McCarthy, and then the starting lineup is written by Joe Girardi and presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner in center field will lead off. Batting second and playing second is Robinson Cano. Kevin Youkilis, the third baseman, hits third. Cleaning up the DH, Travis Hackman. Vernon Wells in left field will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Ichiro Suzuki. Eduardo Nunez at shortstop will bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing first base, Lyle Overbay. Chris Stewart is going to catch, and he'll bat ninth.
On the mound, Brandon McCarthy, the veteran right-hander, was with the Oakland A's last year, been in the big league several years. 2 starts, the high ERA, 1.771. His first start against the Cardinals was not good. They see the 19 hits, 11 innings. Let's take a look at the pitcher's scout report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Serious head injury, I'll tell you, the comebacker baseball fans remember got hit right in the head last September 15th by Eric Ibar, had surgery. A fractured skull, very scary stuff. Very cerebral pitcher, Michael. I didn't want to just put cerebral. This guy thinks at another level, and I'll talk about it during his start. He relies on computers and different statistics. Location and movement. Doesn't wow you velocity-wise. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. Has to be on his spots. Good movement, especially with his fastball.
All right, so McCarthy deals to Gardner, and the pitch is low, 1-0.
Now, because of that head injury he suffered last year, there was talk this spring of pitchers wearing helmets or liners within their hats, and I wanted to get your, how do you feel about it?
Well, if you wouldn't feel it in a way that it just didn't feel comfortable or normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I do believe that baseball, and there are companies out there that are going to try to sell this to baseball, and eventually we will see kind of a hard hat, interior Kevlar material inside the hats. Hopefully it can't be too heavy, because you don't want to think about it wearing a hat with something that's cumbersome. But I am absolutely convinced, Kenny, that we'll see someday some kind of hard shield plastic in his hats.
And we're just throwing those highlights of Jackie Robinson in our open. It wasn't until the late 40s and the early 50s that players started wearing helmets at the plate. The players would go up there just with their baseball hats on. I can't fathom that.
No. Well, even with the flaps, you played without a flap, right?
Yeah,
Your flap?
For a while, then the flaps came in.
Well, McCarthy, when he got hit by Eric Ibar, was on September 5th of last year. He suffered an epidural hemorrhage, brain contusion, and a skull fracture. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. and Gardner down on strikes. And that night, McCarthy had to have surgery to evacuate the hemorrhage and to stabilize the fracture. He was in rough waters there for a while. Let's see the defense behind Brandon tonight. In left field, A.J. Pollock. Gerardo Parra is in center, and Cody Ross in right. It's Chavez, Pennington, Prado, and Goldschmidt third to first. Montero behind the plate. Now, Al, your injury was not as serious, but you also got hit in the head while pitching.
I did, Michael, and it was a very scary moment. It was spring training. I was with the Mets down in Jupiter, and Alex Gonzalez, fast. It was curveball away from right-hand hitter, and he just boogie-whooped it. And I thought I got my glove on it, and it just hit me to right side about a half-inch from the temple.
Oof.
And very scary. Had a brain scan. They realized that checked that I actually didn't have a brain there.
Found nothing, right?
I was the scarecrow. No, I'm not.
Yeah, it's scary stuff.
Yeah, I was very relieved. And, I still can't believe, guys, when you stand on that mound, you're 54 feet away after you let the ball go, and you get a guy like Robinson Cano or any of these great hitters. You know, the velocity off the bat is scary.
It's scary for the hitters, too. I remember yelling at a few guys after I hit balls through the middle. Get out of the way.
Well, Kenny, I think you were in the booth with me for this, and it was one of the scariest moments I've ever experienced Boston. Up here. Ryan Thompson at the plate, Bryce Florio, and you could hear the thud when it hit him. It was, wow.
That basically ended his career.
Yep. A 1-2. Fouled away, still 1-2. Brandon has fought injuries throughout his career. Nothing as serious as a skull fracture, but for a pitcher, lots of shoulder problems.
Well, the Diamondbacks took a chance. They signed him as a free agent over the winter. He had been with the Oakland A's. He went 8-6 last year with a 3.24 for the A's, so he pitched pretty well in Oakland.
2-2
on that division-winning team until he was injured.
Yeah, he was their most consistent, not best stuff-wise. They, Brad Anderson, Jared Parker came up.
Tommy Malone.
They, because of nice young arms.
Count 3-2.
But even here, as you're watching this, fastball, curveball, slider, back-to-back changeups. The previous pitch changeup comes back with another one. This is what the Yankees will see tonight against Brandon McCarthy. And it's all thought out. When I mentioned about him being very cerebral, he goes through different statistical data.
Line drive, right field, base hit.
That's not provided, or the person isn't a Arizona Diamondback employee. He's got his own person that does this.
Well, Robinson Cano had a 5-game hitting streak broken on Sunday night, but still he is now 12 for his last 23. So this is a little slider, a little cutter on the inner third. Robbie didn't really tattoo it. Maybe he got it down on the handle a little bit, but he got enough of it to drive it over the second baseman on Yesmo, Mercedes-Benz Yesmo. Here's a follow-through on the beautiful swing of Robinson Cano.
Youkilis takes inside, 1-0.
Well, looking at Kevin Youkilis getting off to a great start. New team, and haven't played in Boston or Chicago last year. You absolutely want to get good footing here with the Yankees and wearing the pinstripes. But I look at this, guys. Kevin Youkilis, 333, 2 home runs. Travis Hafner, what a day he had in Cleveland, 3 home runs, 300. And then Vernon Wells, the late pickup, 324, 3 home runs. I mean, what a nice job Ryan Cash in the front office and scouting had done with some of these pickups.
Well, several scouts have said that Vernon Wells is swinging the bat the best they've seen since Toronto. So, and the Yankee scouts saw that in spring training. Decided, well, we'll trade for Vernon Wells. We'll work out the deal. There's a lot of money involved that the Angels decided to take on.
Well, it's been an injury issue for Vernon, right? I mean, he's
last year, yeah.
And even he crashed into the wall a few years ago at Toronto. He's done the same with shoulder.
But when you look at the Yankee lineup, 4 straight 300 hitters: Cano, Youkilis, Hafner, and Wells. So all 4 of them have gotten off to decent starts, and all with multiple home runs. So there's a pretty good gauntlet for any pitcher to try and navigate.
You know, you see what's happened with the Yankees. They've come into this game at 6-5, and we all know the injuries that they've suffered and the people that they're expecting to get back. As Joe Girardi over the weekend, you know, the general perception is that, well, if the Yankees could tread water till they get their players back in May, that's great. He goes, no, that's not the way I'm looking at it. I want to be in first place and get a lead, and then when they get back, it just makes us better. I don't want to think about, let's play 500 in April. That's the wrong way to approach it. He said, I want to be able to dominate even with these players, even without our injured players. In the last 6 games, the Yankees have done just that. They're 5-1. They're hitting .316 as a team. And for the little engine that couldn't hit home runs, they have 12 home runs in the last 6 games and 18 home runs overall, second in big league baseball.
Oh, American.
In the American.
Yeah, Oakland's. Oh, and how about that? Oakland's first.
Line drive, left field, a base hit for Youkilis. Cano will stop at second.
Yeah, 2 hitters, 300 hitters, jumping their averages up even more. And the youth chants getting more and more voices here in the stadium.
Nice at bat here, Kenny. Middle of the plate. That was supposed to be a little sinker in. Brandon McCarthy wanted it up out over the plate. Kevin Youkilis saw 3 or 4 different types of pitches from Brandon McCarthy. Nice hitting. Got enough of it. Hands pulling inside that baseball over Cliff Pennington's head.
As I watched McCarthy pitch, he grew up in Southern California and was an Oral Hershiser fan. And he's got some of the same movements as Oral. He doesn't have the good sinker that Oral had. Oral had that heavy sinker, got a lot of ground balls. But when you watch him, look at the way he sets up on the mound. He gives you that Oral Hershiser look.
Here's Travis Hafner, first and second, 1 out. Pitch is low. Just underway here at the stadium, beginning of a 3-game interleague set. First interleague matchup for the Yankees this year. Hafner's had some success against McCarthy, 6 for 13. 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. That's his 6 for 15.
There are pitchers that just seem to throw your speed. It's hard for them to fool you, and they can't make a good pitch when they have to. And you're just waiting in the weeds for it.
Is this one of those guys?
Well, so far it's been.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You know, Brandon McCarthy, like most big league pitchers, if you watch that 88 to 91 velocity, you got to be on the corners.
Just missed that one. High fly ball to right. Prado goes way out there to make the catch for the second out.
Michael called it just right. He just missed this one. Just underneath it. You can see the reaction of hitters when they get a little back flip. Man, I hope I get that later in the game. Again with 2 men on. You can see just underneath it. Didn't quite get on top of it. Just got flattened out the bat a little bit more. Been doing some business.
Put that in the little filing cabinet right there, Travis.
There's Vernon Wells. Rounded foul.
I was watching Wells hitting in batting practice, and he hit one to left field over the auxiliary scoreboard and left there. And when he was leaving the cage, that was his last swing in that round of swings, and he thought he didn't get it, and it still went in seats. So I looked at him and said, some people just naturally strong. He kind of laughed. I mean, he was shaking his head coming out of the cage, and the ball ends up in the seats.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to think. They just came off this road trip in what?
Oh yeah.
You know, Cleveland. That's, you got to hit it high and far. And you know, if you're just coming off BP, Cleveland or Detroit,
yeah,
that's not an easy place to hit it out.
Two and one.
Nighttime in Anaheim too. Sunshine and exploring that ball fly a little bit. Nighttime not so much.
That heavy ocean air.
Yes.
3-1.
"27 pitches this inning. That's not coming out of the gate strong.
20 through the first 3 batters.
And now he's faced with a tough 3-1 pitch.
And he walks him. That loads the bases for Ichiro.
That right there is I'll start over. I'm not throwing hard enough to get it by a guy that's hot. And I'll take my chance with a little slider away. If he wants to swing at it, good. If not, I'll start with Ichiro.
One of the keys to any series, and you saw Kirk Gibson looking out there. He knows that McCarthy has thrown 28 pitches here in the first inning. When you start a series, you want the first guy out there on the mound to do a pretty good job, credible job, so you don't have to start burning up your bullpen in the first game of the series.
Ichiro off to a bad start, 6 hits and 34 bats. So he is looking to get on track. First year in his career that he did not have at least 10 hits in the first 10 games. And this is the Yankees' 12th game. Grounded to first, Goldschmidt fields and fires to McCarthy as he gets out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, and the bases are left loaded. Let's go to the second. 0-0 on yes. Is brought to you in part by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at JaguarUSA.com. So Ivan Nova in the first inning.
Well,
what did you see, Al?
Kind of like along what I was talking about. You could get good result, but as a pitcher, you identify whether it was a good location or a good pitch. Kenny and I don't know how you felt, Kenny, but I wasn't sure whether this was a split or something else. That was a slider. Watch out of his hand and watch the movement here. Very little. It backs up. Cody Ross takes it down the middle. That's not a quality pitch. You know, old cement mixer, backup slider. Those are things that, you know, as a pitcher, you say, okay, I know I got away with it. It was a strikeout, great, the end of the inning, but I got to be better than that.
And the really good pitchers, and we saw this from CC Sabathia on Friday night against the Orioles, if you get an out, but you don't make a great pitch, you're annoyed on the mound.
Yes.
Because you realize you got lucky. It wasn't because of you that you got an out.
Now, I don't think getting to a point where you're in, you know, there's a type level of insanity out there where every single pitch you're getting all crazy, but, you know, just kind of file it. Hey, I got away with that one. Come on, be better, finish, reach out. Whatever your keys are as a pitcher.
Swing and a miss as Chavez down on strikes.
Well, that's nasty right there. Love his curveball. Really do. It's got great break. He went fastball, slider, changeup. This was the sequence to lead up to that 12-6. That is a great curveball right there. Beautiful. Stays back. Takes a little off. The difference of about 16, 17 miles an hour.
Of course, that's Eric Chavez. Spent the last 2 years with the Yankees. Signed with the Diamondbacks as a free agent. Lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, so he's playing at home this year.
There's Eric Hinske, another former Yankee.
Yeah. Hinske was all pumped up before the game, Michael, today because this is his first start of the season. He's the DH.
Yeah, those ABs, those 9 ABs, all pinch hitting appearances. And if you check out Hinske's career, he has a habit of being on winning teams.
Yeah, wasn't it like 3 or 4 in a row? He went to a World Series
with different teams.
Different teams every year.
Red Sox, Rays, Yankees, and Braves. Kind of rhymes too.
And the 0-2. Yankees shift for Hinske with 3 infielders on the right side. 12 big league seasons. Toronto, Boston, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Yankees, Braves, and now the Diamondbacks. Won the Rookie of the Year in 0-2 with Toronto. Won the championship with Boston and with the Yankees. 4 consecutive postseasons with 4 different teams. Ground ball to Cano. 2 outs. Time for the MetLife I Can Do This stat of the game. Ivan Nova set a New York Yankees rookie record with 12 consecutive wins in 2011.
And Michael, wasn't that the year that he didn't lose a game during the summer months?
I know he was dealing. I don't remember exactly. Yeah.
I think he lost the game in the spring, won all summer long, which was a hit song in those days. And then his next loss, I think, came in the fall.
Well, the thing that makes you wonder about Nova, his first 48 starts in the big leagues, he was 26-6. But in his last 15 starts, he's 3-7. So did the league figure him out? Has he lost something? Does he have to figure the league back out again? Because for a while there, he didn't look like a 4th or 3rd starter. He looked like a 2nd starter in the rotation. The 0-2.
Well, a couple things, and I think if he keeps going the way he's going right here, every pitch, execute, limit your mistakes. But his velocity too, Michael, just a little tick. This is this whole pitch FX thing that's out there. Last year, he averaged fastball 93 miles an hour. This year, and I know it's only early, it's 1 start, 90.8. That's pretty significant, almost 3 miles an hour, 2.2 miles an hour. His curveball is slower, 77 on average. It was 80. As well as his slider. I don't see the discernible difference. I know that first year he did pop a few more 95. So just know it if you feel fine.
Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Vernon Wells will play it in the corner, and Pollock picks up a double.
A.J. Pollock, a Big East product. All Big East. Couple of seasons at the University of Notre Dame. In fact, he and David Phelps of the Yankees were teammates for the Fighting Irish, and boy, he rips this one into the corner.
He's from Hebron, Connecticut, which is near Hartford. How great was it that he played Notre Dame and his first minor league assignment was for South Bend? So he didn't exactly have to find new places to eat, and he knew exactly where he was. Former A's shortstop Cliff Pennington takes the strike. Oh, 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing and miss. Got it. 94-mile-an-hour sinking fastball. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Eduardo Nunez will lead it off. for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on these Diamondbacks and partner with Keep America Beautiful to celebrate Earth Day. The first 18,000 guests in attendance receive a flower seed packet courtesy of Keep America Beautiful. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Eduardo Nunez. And there's a strike. Scary moment for Eduardo. Friday against the Orioles, got hit on the right wrist. He's in a lot of pain. X-rays were negative. Second time he's been hit this year. One time in Detroit, got hit on the right biceps. Had to be taken out of the game. Just trying to stay healthy. Ground ball up the middle. Pennington gets Nunez. Now, you mentioned earlier the information that McCarthy has at his disposal. And we've also heard this saying, which is true in a lot of sports, paralysis by analysis.
Yes.
Does he have too much information out there?
I would, just for me, Michael, and I was one that I prepared with video, and I would want to know some stats. But yes, at the end, you're throwing a baseball. You know, identify, okay, Lyle Overbay, good low ball hitter, whatever you come up with. Looking at video, look at swings. But after a while, like he mentions that he looks at heat maps, the velocity data, the movement data, like all sorts of different fan graphs.
Heat maps?
I didn't even know there was a heat map.
Is it something to do with the weather?
No, it has to do with like his pitches on velocities and how they vary. And Michael, yes.
I mean, everything you hear, it's an instinct. Sports an instinct. He's taking instinct out of it.
Well, no, but I'll say this, because they're and I don't know, Kenny, if you use much data, but there are numbers that just say it's really dumb to throw this guy a fastball, and they show you numbers based on hundreds, if not thousands, of pitches thrown. Ken Singleton had a scout report, and if they documented every single pitch in an area, there's probably a batting average that you say don't throw there or throw there. Like, I get that.
So shouldn't the catcher have this information, and the pitcher shouldn't be having it rattling around in his brain?
Depends on the pitcher. And depends on the catcher. Some catchers where you want this, 3, no, you want a 2, you want a 1. And I don't agree with that, Michael. I think at the end of the very last moment, Charles Nagy, longtime Major League pitcher, many years with the Indians, the pitching coach for the D-backs, at the end, it's your game. The ERA is next to your name. The W or the L is next to your name. And, often you'll hear a guy, well, he put that, he called it. You throw it.
You think he knows that Overbay's 7 for his last 16 with a 4-game inning streak?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was on the heat map.
He's hot.
3-2. Hit sharply to Goldschmidt for the second out.
There it was, right there, Michael. Kenny, 3-2 curveball.
All right, don't give in. Don't give him the fastball.
Yeah, here we go. Guy's hot. If he's cold, you're going to run a little two-seamer away, let him roll over on. He hangs a curveball.
Yeah, it's not like he fooled him. He hit it pretty hard. It wasn't the best curveball.
Nope.
It was sort of like a get-it-over curve on 3-2, and hopefully the pitch itself will throw him off. But you say, hey, Overbay's right on it. That was a nice test for Goldschmidt at first.
Here's Chris Stewart. Count 1-0. One and one.
I do think, Michael, and I know there's 2 outs, I don't want to get into this, maybe get a chance, that many coaches at the lower levels are not allowing pitchers to learn how to pitch, learn how to read swings. They call all the pitches. And it really upsets me, being around high school kids or college kids that they have like these, like quarterbacks do with numbers, and they just yell out numbers. So pitchers today at younger levels, they don't even know how to, they don't understand about setting up hitters. It's become so robotic.
Are they doing that to protect their arms?
They're doing it because they don't think a pitcher knows how to get people out. So they don't call pitches. The catcher doesn't either at high school level and college level.
So that doesn't help future catchers either.
It doesn't help anybody that's between the lines. You talk about it before the game. You trust that your guys know what they're doing. They have baseball savvy, and let them figure it out. Not at the major league level. They don't do that. Once in a while, a pitching coach may give you some suggestions in between innings.
Line drive. Just off the glove of a diving Pennington. Trickles into left field. A base hit for Chris Stewart.
You know, one thing I noticed on that last pitch, you saw Montero shaking his head, and he's giving a sign, but while he's shaking his head, what he wants the pitcher McCarthy to do is shake him off. So that confuses the hitter. You see him shake, just say no, but this is what you're going to throw. And it ended up being a hanging curveball, and Chris Stewart jumped on it for a base hit.
Interesting.
Yeah, that they try to trick these hitters, these pitchers and these catchers. It's been going on for years.
Suffering, suck at that.
Gardner fouls a bat.
No, but what did make sense there, Kenny? What's the majority of the pitches in baseball?
Fastball.
Fastball. So he has them shake, shake, shake. Normally, shake, 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 you think you're getting an off-speed pitch.
Sometimes they shake and shake and shake, and you know it's going to be a fastball. They're just trying to confuse you as a hitter.
You know who used to like for us to do that as a pitching staff? Cito Gaston.
Really?
Cito always used to come to the meetings and had little to say, but he said, look, I didn't like it when guys shook. Create a little doubt. Just a little doubt.
Count 1-1. Gordon struck out in the first inning. We're in the second. Yankees and the Diamondbacks, 0-0.
Alan Trammell, former manager of the Tigers. They got all-star coaching staff.
It is the most decorated coaching staff, I think, Michael, in the history of Major League Baseball.
You've got Trammell, you've got Baylor, you've got Steve Sachs.
That guy. Charles Nagy.
Kirk Gibson.
In fact,
and Matt Williams.
20 all-star appearances by the coaching staff. 20.
Line drive, a base hit into left center field. Parra cuts it off in the gap. Gardner's going for two. He's in there with a double, moving to third as Stewart.
Anytime Brett Gardner hits the semblance of a gap, they don't have to get all the way to the wall. It's got a good chance of being an extra base hit, primarily because he gets out of the box really quickly. And he's in at second with a double.
I'm not saying he would have been out, but watch Gerardo Parra at center. I don't know whether he was surprised, shocked. He got one of the fastest guys in baseball. Hesitated just a little bit. Could have been the difference. Watch right here. Parra circles it, steps, stops, maybe just couldn't get his feet into it.
I think he's a left-handed thrower, so he had to really reset his body. He was running away from the play.
All right, big spot for Robinson Cano. Second and third, two men out, bottom of the second. Yankees have a chance to put something on the scoreboard. Now on a day that the Yankees and the Diamondbacks are honoring Jackie Robinson, the day after Jackie Robinson Day, Robinson's usual number is number 24, and he wears that to honor Jackie Robinson, and he was named after Jackie Robinson. So today he gets to flip-flop the number because everybody wears 42.
It should be an interesting at-bat, and right away these first two pitches kind of tell me he's being very careful with Robinson Cano with a base open. And if you're Kevin Youkilis on deck, you know what's going on here. You can see that a lot depends on what they're going to walk him intentionally. They're not going to mess with him anymore. So if you're Youkilis on deck, you can see the first two pitches trying to get Robinson Cano to chase. He wouldn't do it. So now the challenge is there.
And I like that by Kirk Gibson. You know, he's got a guy that has the ability to command a pitch, but don't have your pitcher say, okay, pitch around and don't let him hurt you. Go ahead, put him on base, take your chance with Youkilis.
Bases loaded with 2 outs for Youkilis. Youkilis singled his first time up. Stewart's at third, Gardner is at second, and Cano is at first. 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Count 1-0. A 1-0.
Well, one thing Youkilis is going to do more often, he's going to force you to throw strikes. And now, right now, he's in the count 2-0, pick and choose time. If McCarthy makes a great pitch, Youkilis will probably take it for a strike. But if he doesn't, he'll be ready to strike.
The 2-0. There's a strike.
Pretty good pitch down the way.
Or thinking
something else.
Yeah. See the good little life too. Yeah, that had nice action.
Yeah, darted back to the corner.
Two and two.
Well, the history here is 1 for 14 coming into tonight's game. First at bat, Youkilis punched the base hit over Pennington's head over the shortstop. So the history was on McCarthy's side.
Broken back, soft ground ball to third. Chavez just got Youkilis for the final out. Youkilis hustling down the line, was about to argue, but then when he saw that Mick Kelleher didn't say anything, he knew that Phil Cuzzy got it right. Yankees leave the bases loaded.
Of pitching coach Larry Rothschild reported no pain in that lower back, so it looks as though he is slated to make the start on Friday against the Blue Jays on the road. He threw all his pitches, didn't have any discomfort in that lower back, so Michael, certainly a good sign moving forward for a guy in his first 2 starts that was 2-0 with an ERA just over 1.
Everybody holding their breath on that, Meredith, and everybody's holding their breath on Derek Jeter. What's the latest on the captain?
Well, he had the weekend off. He didn't do any baseball activity, but he was back on the field today. Fielded 21 grounders, also took some BP, ran in the outfield. Still no timetable on Derek Jeter, though. They need to know that he's going to be able to bounce back day after day. So still a wait and see for Derek Jeter, but certainly encouraged by the fact that he's been doing some more on-field activity.
How about Mark Teixeira, Meredith?
Well, I caught up with him earlier in the clubhouse, and he told me he was going to see the doctor this evening. If you remember back when the Yankees got back from this last road trip, he thought he was going to be cleared to swing the bat. Unfortunately, he was not cleared to swing the bat at that time. He continued his strengthening exercises, but pretty hopeful that this time around he would be able to. So he would start a swinging program in the event that he got that clearance. That would probably take him about a week, and then after that he would enter the cage and take some live BP on the field. So Mark Teixeira feeling better as far as that wrist concerned. We'll find out after the game, and you'll hear in the post-game show as to whether or not he's been cleared.
Well, that's a beautiful promo, Meredith, so now we have another reason to stick around.
Why not, right?
Thanks a lot.
Anytime, Michael.
All right, we'll hear from Meredith and John and Bob later on in the post-game show. 3-1 count on Parra as we are in the top of the third. That one is slice foul. You know, getting back to Pettit, I talked to Joe Girardi over the weekend doing the Joe Girardi show, and he's very honest. If you're a starting pitcher in a rotation, 5-man rotation, you're expected to give you 33 starts if you make every start. I mean, you see the Lincoln scoreboard, no score, top of the third. 33-34.
Yeah, 33-34.
You know, you factor in maybe double headers or whatever, skipping starts. That one is sliced to left, the base hit. And I said, you know, you've got Andy Pettit. You've pushed him back twice now. First the Baltimore series, then he's supposed to start Tuesday against the Diamondbacks. I said, can you realistically, with the oldest starter in baseball, 40 years old, think he's going to give you 33, 34? He goes, no. He said, but if he gives us 28, we'll be happy. Yeah. So they expect him to miss a start here and there just to keep him healthy. I think that's a smart way to go about it.
Michael, it is an absolute smart way. And look, you know, of course, when you look at his numbers, you say, wow, if Andy Pettit can throw like this every game, you know, he's going to win 20. You got to keep his body right. And in order for him to do what he's been doing in these 3 starts, he's got to feel good. I'm not saying 100%. I don't think there is 100% anymore when you've been pitching as long as Andy. I always thought that occasional rest here or there was very important. I said 3 starts, 2 starts, a 1.2 ERA. You know, 15 innings, 2-0 Andy is. But occasional missing of a start does wonders, especially for a 40-year-old man.
Here's Martin Prado. Good breaking ball strike. 0-1.
One thing the Diamondbacks have not been doing, that's been stealing bases. They only had 3 on the year, but Parra has 2 of them, and he's at first base. And he's talking it over with first base coach Steve Sachs, and Yankee fans remember him. He played for the Yankees for a couple of seasons. And Sachs was brought in here to help these Diamondbacks with their base running and base stealing.
Runner was going, and the ball gets away from Stewart, so it's a stolen base for Parra.
Now they have 4, and he's got 3 of them.
Like a little sinker, just yanks it. You see that ball is supposed to be on the inside part of the plate. Chris Stewart expecting the action of a 2-seam fastball, which would sink inside to a right-hander, just hooked it. Martin Prado, you talk about the consummate 2-hole hitter. This guy can spray the ball from left field to right field. His approach right here is if he could get something out over, do a job, move the ball to the right side.
Just clipped the outside corner, 2-2.
What makes Prado such a tough hitter, with 2 strikes here, he can take the ball the other way like he did in the first inning. And while this was a good pitch, on this particular pitch, well, it just clipped the corner, maybe the front end of the plate. He's quite capable of putting that ball in play.
Spoil a good pitch there from Nova. Yeah, you mentioned at the start of the game, Michael, Martin Prado, what a good guy in the clubhouse. He's already rubbing off on other players. I talked to Matt Williams, third base coach for the Diamondbacks, and just there's Don Baylor. Just his approach and how he goes about things and going the other way. Matt Williams said, you know, he had an at-bat in Arizona last week where the entire bat. There was a runner at second base, and he was just trying to go to the right side. And other players were identifying with this, about the unselfishness of the type of player that he is.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Missed inside. 50 pitches for Nova, and now Nunez goes and talks with him, because tossing the ball in the air and snapping at it is a sign of frustration right there.
Well, no, also, well, yes, Michael. Tom Hallion, I think he thought that last pitch was a strike. Curveball on the inside part of the plate. Looked like it backed up a little. Corner probably off the plate inside, but don't show up the umpire. Watch here. This ball is set up. It's a curveball, stays inside. Tom Hallion got that right. You could see the way Chris Stewart pulled his glove back.
The 3-2. Foul back, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, so bringing it.
It seems like he did this last inning. When he got in trouble, he reached back for a little bit extra on the fastball. And last inning, he struck out Pennington to end the inning with a runner at second base.
The 3-2. And there's a walk. So first and second, nobody out. Time for today's conversation, brought to you by Toyota. Prius is the official hybrid of the Yankees. Go to Yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. Here's how the conversation started. Do you like how MLB has interleague play all season long now? Why or why not? And Shea Izzle tweets, it gives variety to the schedule and provides fans a better chance to see teams they don't usually get to see. Here's Paul Goldschmidt. And there's a strike. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Well, whether you like it or not, with 15 teams in each league, an odd number, you're going to have interleague play every day. You have to. Today, there happen to be 3 interleague games. Count 0-2 on Goldschmidt.
I don't know if that's necessarily true from, what was her name? Schlegel? The lady? Or that little...
Something. Shea Izzle.
Shea Izzle.
Schlegel.
I think I think there's only 9 games this year. You know, I don't think they played more. I just think it's spread out.
Yeah, it's just spread out. No, it's the same. I don't think it's just 9.
Yeah.
Yankees have 4 alone against the Mets, 2-2.
4 against the Dodgers.
Yep.
2-2.
3 against the San Francisco Giants, 3 against the Diamondbacks.
All right, so 15.
3 against the Padres.
18.
Cha-ching. Keep adding it up. $20 interleague games. What was it last year? Same?
Not sure.
I think it was usually 18. I'm thinking they were 13-5 last year.
The 1-2. It was 18 last year.
Now this is where the interleague play is usually where the Yankees used to take off every year in June. They had the best record in interleague play of any team.
A lot of American League teams are a little concerned because with the concentrated time of interleague play, your pitcher could take BP then when they knew they were going to be in National League cities. Now, an interleague city could pop up in May, in April.
Yeah.
And so your pitchers have to take time taking batting practice all the time just to stay ready. So another 3-2 count, first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the third. And the pitch. Served into right field. It's a base hit in front of Ichiro. Parra will round third. He'll stop right there. The throw comes all the way in. It gets away from Stewart, but it keeps it near him. And now the Diamondbacks have the bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, Goldschmidt is a power hitter, but we've seen him hit the ball to the right side twice tonight. And in fact, he had a big hit on Sunday, and it was a single right field that won the ball game against the Dodgers in Arizona. So he goes the other way for a guy who has all kinds of power. And this is the bottom of the ninth inning against Josh Beckett. Base hit to right. Here comes the winner. A.J. Pollock scores. And the Diamondbacks win 1-0. Beckett went the distance and took the loss.
All right, big spot here for Miguel Montero. Bases loaded, nobody out. And there's movement in the Yankee bullpen. Fouled away.
I mean, you could just see the approach, the way these Diamondback hitters are going. It's just inside out, using the whole field. And Ken, you mentioned him. For a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, who had 20 home runs last year, it doesn't go together. A true power hitter that's not a pull hitter uses the whole field. That's exactly the type of player that Kirk Gibbs is looking for.
High fly ball center field. Tagging is Parra. Backing up is Gardner. He makes the catch. Runner scores. Prado goes to third. It's a sac fly for Montero. And it's 1-0 Arizona.
Nice job by Brett Gardner keeping Goldschmidt at first base and keep the double play in order. Montero does his job at the sac fly.
Montero led the team in runs batted in last year. Set a club record for catchers. In fact, he broke his own record.
Ross grounds one off his foot.
Now there's Sean Kelly warming up in the Yankee bullpen. That's another one of those pitches that missed location. You're Ivan Nova right now. You say, okay, I was in a heap of mess. I gave up one run. I got a chance of getting out of this. I get a 2-ball here. Watch here. He wants to set up inside. Chris Stewart setting up. That's middle of the plate. Again, that's another one of those in your mind. Say, okay, I got away with one. A sinker in on the hands, a good jam shot, usually a good ground ball pitch, especially with the movement of Nova's fastball tonight.
Count 1-1.
Cody Ross had a pretty good year last year for Boston. Hit 22 home runs for the Red Sox, but signed as a free agent by these Arizona Diamondbacks.
Line drive to left field coming on as well, so play it on a hop. Prado scores. Moving to second is Goldschmidt. RBI single for Ross. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks, and here comes Larry Rothschild to talk with Nova. What's going wrong, Al?
I don't get the sequence, and I think we have. I think Nova just doesn't have the faith and confidence in the location of his fastball. Now that had great break. You saw the little downward movement to it. This is good hitting. Look at his eyes down on the baseball. This is about knee high, little below the knee. Good hitting. I see that as not as a ground ball pitch for a guy that got extension. I get it. There's pitches that you get the result that you want. I just thought in that scenario there, Michael, to get that boring two-seamer in on the hands, get a little jam shot, you got to shot it without the extension to be able to get a ground ball. And I think it goes back to lack of fastball command and not trusting it.
Here's Eric Chavez, former Yankee. Struck out in the second inning. And the pitch low, 1-0.
Mentioned Chavez did a good job for the Yankees last year when Alex Rodriguez was injured. 16 home runs in less than 300 at-bats.
Skied the other way. As a Yankee, played 171 games, had some big hits, 274, 18 homers, 63 ribbies. And he got hits when they counted, made big plays in the third inning or at third base as well. And just fit in beautifully on this team. Liked being here, accepted his role beautifully.
You can never fault the player for wanting to play at home. So he's from Arizona and lives in the suburbs of Phoenix. I think he could be a manager one day.
Yeah, good guy, good quality guy. He was the benchmark a few years ago, back in the early 2000s. 6 years in a row, Gold Glove for the Oakland A's.
And a run producer as well.
Two balls, two strikes, one out, two on. 2 runs already in for the Diamondbacks. And he gets a big strikeout of Eric Chavez. 2 outs.
Second time he's gotten him on that breaking ball down and in where looks like a fastball. You want to be quick as a left-handed hitter because they all like that pitch down if it's too far down, too far in. Second time he's gotten him. Sharp breaking ball. Low and in, thinks it's a heater, and missed it by at least a foot.
.70 pitches, 2 outs into the third. Here's Eric Hinsky. Count 0-1. Grounded to second base. Right there is Cano. All things considered, not terrible for Nova. As the Diamondbacks score 2, 3 hits, they leave 2. We go to the bottom of the third. At Montefiore Medical Center, inspired medicine. Let's go around the league this time. Jose Bautista had back spasms, so he's day-to-day for the Blue Jays. How about Hanrahan? Comes over to the Red Sox from the Pirates to be their closer. Blew a save, then on the 15-day DL with a sore hamstring. And David Ortiz, after a long wait, is expected to be activated Friday, although the Red Sox are playing quite well without him. Reds are up 7-1 over the Indians right now, bottom of the third in Cleveland. But Ortiz will certainly lengthen that lineup and give it some more power.
Yeah, that game is very interesting in Cleveland because Terry Francona now, of course, is the manager of the Cleveland Indians.
John Farrell back in Boston as the manager. It might be the right elixir that Clay Buchholz and John Lester needed.
And for years, didn't John Farrell work for the Cleveland Indians? He was like their scouting director or something.
Or player development.
Yeah.
Count 2-0 to half. You see the Lincoln Motor Company scoreboard, 2-0. Diamondbacks over the Yankees. Diamondbacks, as we mentioned at the start, they're 8-4 in the early going. Yankees 6-5. 2-0. Strike. 2-1.
You coming out of your shoes right there, Mr. Singleton? 2-0.
Maybe not leading off an inning. You're down by a run. You're trying to get on base.
Ground ball to second. Prado.
In fact, the guy I was trying to get on base for is here tonight. I saw him earlier in the stands. There he is, Eddie Murray. That was my job. Get on base for Eddie Murray. Really? Somebody got to cheer Eddie up. Eddie, I'm on base. Do something.
Wait a minute. Wow, he was a hitter, huh? 3,000 hits.
Oh, it's 1,900 plus runs batted in.
Here's Vernon Wells. Wells walked in the first inning. In the first and in the second, the Yankees left the bases loaded. So they've been unable to get the big hit against Brandon McCarthy.
Well, one thing they've done by making him work so hard the first 2 innings, they've jumped his pitch count up there. He's already at 65.
Vernon Wells looking 2-0 fastball coming out of his shoes right here.
He's trying to hit something hard.
Popped up, shallow center. Diving play by Parra for the second out.
I mentioned a couple of years ago he won a Gold Glove, and there's Gold Glove form. Had a long run. I think he got frozen on the swing. Sometimes it happens as an outfielder. And that one does not come out once he hits the turf here at Yankee Stadium. Man, nice play. Concentration on our Mercedes-Benz Yesmo. Look at the eyes. And the ball's in the glove.
Now, at the end of this inning, the Yankees, you'll see how Parra will come in and hold on. Yankees will play Sweet Caroline, which is a staple at Fenway Park. That one is looped into center field. Parra will not get that one, so a base hit for Ichiro. And a nice gesture by the Yankees as we stand in solidarity with the people of Boston that have gone through just a horrific event yesterday during the Boston Marathon. At the finish line, 2 separate explosions go off, 3 people killed, 170 injured. One of the people killed an 8-year-old boy, and a lot of children were injured as well because the bombs were made with shrapnel and nails and things like that. And just awful. And today, everybody comes from Boston. The resiliency and the courage that they showed, and the first responders there, and we hope for a quick recovery for that city. Just scary, very scary. So, Sweet Caroline will be played here as a small tribute to the people of Boston and the Red Sox fans.
And hopefully a quick apprehension of the perpetrators who did that dastardly act against Boston. Time
called by Nunez. So McCarthy about to throw his 70th pitch. Lined into center field. Right there is Gerardo Parra. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left. As we mentioned, at Yankee Stadium, we will hear the strains of Sweet Caroline. And we will stay right here to listen to it with you. And we'll throw it to the public address announcer here at the stadium, Mr. Paul Olden.
Where it began, I can't begin to know, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hand, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Seems so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, burden runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? One
leading on.
touching one.
Left fielder number 42, A.J. Pollock.
Touching me, touching.
So nice moment here at the stadium as we stand united with the people of Boston. And Sweet Caroline, which is a staple at Fenway Park. I believe it's in the 8th inning of games. So we are thinking of our friends to the north. Line drive down the left field line by Pollock. That is a base hit. It will go into the corner, and Vernon Wells will field it. And Pollock with a leadoff double here in the 4th. So Pollock with 2 doubles. Time now for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for free help today. Who was the last player to wear number 42 for 3 different teams? We will find that out. So Mo Vaughn wore it with the Mets, right? 42. We know he wore it with the Red Sox. He probably wore it for the Angels.
Are we allowed to guess?
Wow, you just guessed.
You know what? That could get me in trouble. I didn't realize I was doing it.
That's too obvious.
Playing in on the corners for Pennington. Pitch up and away, 1-1.
Patient hitter, Cliff Pennington. Could bunt.
Yeah, right now he's going to be called upon. You're seeing some National League Baseball right here. The bunt is more in fashion, of course, with pitchers hitting in the National League. And they work on it extensively during their batting practice. Pitchers take batting practice every day at home.
Stewart fields and fires to Cano. He actually had the runner at third, but there was nobody there to receive the throw because Youkilis was also charging.
Yeah.
He got the ball right away, and he would have been able to get Pollock.
Yeah, that's a read at third base. You watch where Youkilis is. He starts to come in, but now by the time he's already a third of the way down, Chris Stewart realizing could not get him at third base, especially the speed of Pollock.
Yankees bring the infield in with Parr at the plate. Hit sharply to Overbay. Pollock has to stay put. 2 outs.
Got to get on top of a sinker. Hit it hard, but right at Overbay at first base. Looking for the grounder and got it. This guy's a tough hitter.
He is.
Prado is. It's almost like there's no particular way to pitch him. He can hit anything, anywhere. He's like a less powerful version of Robinson Cano to me.
Their best pure hitter on this team.
Yeah.
Line to line drive hitter. 301 batting average last year for the Braves.
Yeah, when you got 2 strikes on you think you got him, you really don't.
Pitch that Nova wanted. That's, you know, you look at a take of a guy, Martin Prado, he took that pitch. Not really that full. Ball was very close, low part of the zone. Seeing the ball well.
Count 2-1.
See, that's the pitch there, Ken, that I think if he gets on top of it, he's got such good movement. He threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball earlier and locked somebody up.
Breaking ball for strike 2-2.
You double up with that curveball or that 2-seam sinking action in on Prado's hand?
The way Prado took that, you knew he was looking for a fastball. He didn't react to the curve. He just took it.
Nice.
Big strikeout, so the leadoff double goes stranded. No runs to hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Ball in the dirt. He swings over the top. Lyle Overbay will lead off the bottom of the 4th. New York State Smokers Quitline quiz. Who was the last player to wear number 42 for 3 different teams? I guessed Mo Vaughn. I shouldn't have guessed. Let's see if I was right. I ruined it for everybody.
Wow.
And I apologize.
I thought it was Dennis Cook.
Really?
Yeah, Denny Cook.
Left hand.
Yes.
Overbay with a high fly ball to left field and out of play.
So that's the first time that I've been up here that he guessed it, right?
Yep. There's a base hit. As Overbay continues to hit well, leads off the fourth inning with a single.
Overbay now with a 5-game hitting streak and 8 for his last 18. Has the ability to hit the ball to the opposite field. Got one of these sinkers going away from him. So, just rip it down the third baseline. There's nobody there. You look, you check the infielders, you check the outfielders when you step up there to hit, and then you look at the holes. And subconsciously, that's where you're trying to hit the ball.
Count 1-1.
The Yankees had excellent opportunities in the first 2 innings of the game against McCarthy to see if he's settled in here, although he gives up a leadoff single there, so the Yankees can ramp up the offense again and keep the pressure on him. Maybe one of these innings he'll crack.
Twice in those moments that you mentioned, Kenny. Made a good pitch on Euclid, little jam shot to third base, and that threat. In the first inning, Ichiro, same thing. Fastball in on his hands, ground ball to first base, then that.
Ground ball and through for a base hit. Stewart's 2 for 2. As Overbay advances to second.
There's that little fastball in on the hands. Nice play. First base. Paul Goldschmidt over the McCarthy. And then the second inning, after the intentional walk to Robinson Cano, another jam shot to third base. Bang, bang at first. Good call by Phil Cuzzi and that threat.
All right, do the Yankees have Gardner bunt here?
I would.
Well, if he bunts, they're probably going to walk Cano and bring up Euclid again. So, or be careful with Cano. Maybe an unintentional walk.
Yeah.
They've already walked him once tonight intentionally. But I think with Gardner, you get the plus. If he bunts,
could beat it out.
He could beat it out. You have all of a sudden you have the bases loaded and nobody out.
Not bunting, and the count 1-0.
I guess the other side of this is Joe Girardi with the speed of Brett Gardner. Pretty tough to double up.
Yeah, and he wants Cano to hit. He doesn't want him to be walked intentionally. And of course, we saw Gardner the other night. He caught Wei Yin Chen speeding. Ran him up the foul pole out there in right field.
The 1-1. 1-2.
Here's the home run on Sunday. This made a 1-0 lead, 3-0, a 2-run shot. It's amazing. I was talking to Gardner before the game. He was able to keep that ball fair. It looked like it was almost a ball inside, and he kept it fair, hit the pole. He said he was surprised to hit the pole. He thought it was going to be much more into fair territory. As it turns out, just enough into fair territory.
As great as that is, I don't like to see Gardner seeing him swing like he's going yard. He's a line drive spray hitter.
I think he's going to hit at least 10 home runs this year.
Got 2 already.
Yeah, he is.
Fly ball the other way, out of play. First 7 games he struggled. Last 5 games he's starting to find a stroke.
See, one of the major columns for him is the run scored column, because that's what he's getting paid to do at the top of the order.
Grounded foul.
Spoiling a good pitch. Good 2-strike hitter. That's what they do. They foul off the pitcher's pitch and hope that the pitcher would make a mistake, something up in the zone. A curveball about ankle high. He just fought it off.
So Gardner goes down.
Showed every one of his pitches. Located fastball, slider, curve, change. In that order of his last 3 pitches. Went from 87, 83, and now that little changeup. It's exactly what Brandon McCarthy does. 4-pitch pitcher, changes speeds, a lot of movement.
Stay out of the same zone.
Same speed.
Yeah, just move the ball around.
So now there's not a base open. You have to go at Cano.
Not necessarily, Michael. I mean,
well, third base is open.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to give in. You can pitch backwards. We respect Robinson Cano tremendously. I always took these at-bats with guys like Robinson Cano as the entire at-bat was 0-2.
Who was your Robinson Cano in the day when you were pitching?
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, Tony, even though I knew he wasn't going to hit a home run, he was going to hit the ball hard somewhere. And the feeling was, when Tony got up there, was just to make sure that there wasn't anybody on base. Tried to.
He didn't strike out very often.
No. Yeah, he hit the ball hard pretty much every time. It felt like.
Well, at least it was a Hall of Famer. He gave me a good name. It wasn't some Rudy Poo player that wore you out.
I'll throw this one because I know his batting average against Mark McLemore was a tough out as well.
You know, he's a big league player. He's a good player.
Well, he's not Tony Gwynn.
No.
The 2-0.
So there it is, Michael. Went slider, slider. So 1-0, 2-0, and then a 2-0. Was he going to get a fastball? No, changeup. So this was kind of that unintentional, intentional walk. Go ahead, Robinson. You want to swing at my pitch?
I'm turning him loose here, 3-0. I'm going to let him swing. He usually doesn't, but if he wants to, in my book, he's got it. No, he's not swinging. And it gave him a 3-0 changeup. Just because you get the green light 3-0 doesn't mean you have to swing.
First and second, 1 out, bottom of the 4th, 2-0 D-backs. The 3-1. 3-2.
So that is a complete backward way of pitching there. Some level of frustration, Kenny, when you just can't predict.
It seems to me when he's in trouble, he can get all 4 pitches over the plate.
Can you sneak a hitter by right here? Slider, slider, change, curve.
Better make a good pitch with it.
That was the sequence, the 5 pitches that Robbie seen. That just changed the sign.
Driven deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Cano goes yard. A 3-run home run. And the Yankees lead 3-2.
And fans, that answers the question why Brett Gardner didn't bunt. Again, he was given the Diamondbacks the option of walking Robinson Cano.
Kenny, let's look at the pitch by pitch. I thought this was great cat and mouse scenario right here. Throws a little cutter in on his hands, ball. Then he throws a bigger slider, ball two. You think you're going to get a fastball? No, 3-0. How about this? A 3-0 changeup. You talk about wanting to pitch around a guy. Swings at a curveball off the plate, thinking he can sneak a fastball. Changeup, middle of the plate. Mistake. Robinson Cano puts it in the bleachers in right field. Yankees up 3-2. Beautiful swing, foot down. About an 84 mile an hour inner half pitch up.
Showed him too many changeups. And you go to the well once too often. If you make a bad pitch with it, it's like laying a fastball in the middle of the plate. This is your fastball now in this count. You've seen it before. He threw it again, right on time. 3-run homer.
And that's why I thought, Kenny, with all of those off speed, every pitch was off speed. I thought a fastball, may have been the right pitch, even though he's a great fastball hitter.
And Kenny, you're so right. If you don't throw a fastball, your change is a bad fastball. Yeah. So there's nothing to change off of if you don't throw your fastball.
It's right there.
Two and two on Euclid. Euclid swings and misses. Now we checked out why Tony Gwynn was your Robinson Cano. 10 for 22 with a home run.
He had a home run.
Yep.
No, I mean, look, he's a great player, but I don't remember. Yeah, look at that. 500, 455. I do it.
Did you say 500 footer?
No, I thought it was close to 500. 10 for 22. Splitting hairs there.
Probably all the outs were line drives.
You know what? I think you're right, Kenny. I remember. I forget the two guys in front of me. I said, I don't care, just so long as nobody's on base. You can hit a double somewhere.
Great hitter. He's like Mr. Padre, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Check swing, and that is going to dunk in for a base hit. In fact, it's going to roll into the corner. And Hafner gets himself a double. And an excuse me double.
That right there is the reason why this game is great and also frustrating. That is an excuse me swing, as Michael just said. Travis Hafner didn't even realize it was fair. Wait a minute, I got to run. He's got a double. Big league double right here, left field line.
Remember Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live? He is me.
Yeah.
There's your excuse me double. Steve Martin double.
That's why this game is sometimes you can't figure it out. There's no rhyme or reason. Swing and bunt, broken bat singles.
Well, Cano with his 4th home run of the year. And according to our very own Jeff Quagliata back in the studio, Cano didn't hit his 4th home run until May 18th of last year. That's 39 games. So he does it in the 12th game, so a little bit ahead of his pace.
Yeah, he had a career high in homers last year.
There's a strike to Vernon Wells. Count 0-2. Matt Reynolds, one of 2 left-handers the Diamondbacks carry up in the bullpen. The 0-2.
Brandon McCarthy throwing a better curveball there. The previous pitch was a hanger. Vernon Wells wish he would have gotten that back. You see the ball that he hit straight back. Usually he tells you hitters right on it. Little history here. 3 for 16 coming into today's game. Vernon Wells against McCarthy now 3 for 17.
Count 1-2.
He's got a good enough fastball, 92. Yeah. And mix it with those other pitchers. He's a pretty effective pitcher.
About to throw his 100th pitch here in the 4th inning. Can't average 25 pitches an inning and give your team a quality start. 2-2.
Spoiling some tough ones. That's twice he spoiled the breaking ball on the outer half. And that makes McCarthy work even harder.
Swing and a miss. Vernon Wells down on strikes. Well, on a day that the Yankees honor Jackie Robinson, the man he was named after, Robinson Cano, honors him in a big way. A 3-run home run. Yankees lead 3-2. Ivan Nova has himself a lead now, needs 3 more outs in order to get this done. And let's take a look at the Jeep Hitter scouting report for Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, he's got light tower power, although he hits the ball well to the opposite field. Last year hit the longest home run at Chase Field, his home ballpark. A 471 footer. Also hit the longest home run at Busch Stadium for a visitor, 456 feet. Strong young man, 6'3", 245 pounds. And as I mentioned, he had the game winner on Sunday. We saw it earlier. Base hit to right field. 1-0 win for the D-backs over the Dodgers. And Shane Spencer was the first rookie to hit home runs in his first 2 postseason at-bats. Last year, Goldschmidt did the same thing, and one of them was a grand slam.
So Nova strikes out Goldschmidt here in the 5th inning. 2 more outs, and he can qualify for the win if the bullpen does its job.
I should say postseason games. Did I say at-bats? Postseason games. Shane Spencer did that for the Yankees back in 1998, that magical season.
Here's Miguel Montero, has a sac fly in the game and a walk.
Michael, we were so much older then. We're younger than that now.
Yep. That was a special season. 125 and 50 when you count the playoffs. Boone Logan up in the Yankee pen. Grounded to second. Cano. 2 outs.
Be interested to see how Nova reacts now that he has the lead. Courtesy of his second baseman Robinson Cano with the 3-run homer.
Well, so far pretty good.
Yeah,
strikeout, little ground ball.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the Diamondbacks have left at least 1 man on in every inning, so it's not like he's had a clean inning as of yet.
Here's Cody Ross, RBI single in the 3rd inning. Montero sac fly, Cody Ross is single. That accounted for both Diamondbacks run. They had a 2-0 lead until Cano with the 3-run home run in the 4th gave the Yankees a 3-2 lead. That one is punched into right field. It is a base hit. Cutting over is Ichiro, cuts the ball off, holds Ross to a single.
Still won't get a clean inning.
Now he has handled Chavez, striking him out twice, and that's who he has to face now.
Good hitting there. Cody Ross, fastball down the way, looked off the plate, just went with the pitch.
Second time he's hit a pitch down in the zone for a base hit.
Yeah, the other one from previous about was a curveball, hooked it to left.
It's interesting. I was talking to Eric Chavez before the game, renewed acquaintances with him, and was a great guy. And he said, well, whatever I'm going to do, I better do it tonight because CC Sabathia is pitching tomorrow. He says, I'm probably not going to play.
Two.
All right, Rothschild looking at the scout report, the numbers, matchups. Sharing those numbers with Joe Girardi.
Fly ball, center field. Coming in is Gardner. And he gets the 5 innings in the book, so he is eligible to get the win, but the Yankees still have some outs to get. They lead 3-2. live Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Optimum Online. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $29.99. If you're an Optimum customer who watches Yes on Optimum TV, go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Well, as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning, Kirk Gibson makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. We get Matt Reynolds, the left-hander, to face Ichiro. Pitch outside. Those are the numbers on Reynolds. Has not allowed a run in 5 1/3 innings. Brandon McCarthy lasted 4. Gave up 9 Yankees hits. Escaped bases loaded situations in the first and the second, but served up a changeup to Robinson Cano with runners on first and second in the fourth. Cano put it into the bleachers in right center, and that's where we stand right now at 3-2 Yanks.
Yeah, he used a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings. And that's why he's out of this game.
Like most big league managers, you'd like to have 2 left-handers. Kirk Gibson having Reynolds and also Tony Sipp. Both were traded over to the D-backs this winter. Tony Sipp and that Cleveland Indian trade, that 3-way trade. Reynolds coming over from the Rockies.
Now the real prize for the Diamondbacks was picking up a shortstop in that 3-way deal, Didi Gregorius, who's actually called up today because Aaron Hill went on the DL. And they're over the moon about this kid. So this could be a situation, gets called up because of an injury and never goes down again as Ichiro swings and misses. We'll see if he lives up to the advanced bid. Kirk Gibson, 17 seasons as a player with the Tigers, the Dodgers, the Royals, and the Pirates. Won the MVP in 1988 with the Dodgers, 2-time world champion. And he was the manager of the year in 2011 when the Diamondbacks won the National League West. Pitch to Nunez. This is a strike.
He and Alan Trammell, one of his coaches, were on that Detroit Tiger team, 1984, that won the World Series. Started the season 35-5.
Never looked back.
Never looked back. Sparky Anderson was the manager, Hall of Fame manager, the late Sparky Anderson. There's Alan Trammell just to the right of Kirk Gibson there. People feel Alan Trammell had himself a Hall of Fame career. He's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Shortstop for the Tigers for 20 years. Played for the Detroit Tigers. Only 3 players in the Tigers history played 20 years for the team. Ty Cobb, Al Kaline, and Alan Trammell.
Where's Whitaker?
Whitaker was 19 years.
Oh, is that?
In fact, we saw Lou Whitaker in spring training. He was at a game at Legends Field. He and Trammell were the shortstop and second baseman for all those years.
Chavez has no chance. Nunez flying down the line. Picks up an infield single.
Wow, hitters can smell a hit. That little changeup out in front nubs it in front of Chavez. Let's see right out of the box. Nunez hustling down the line. Good pickup. Just Nunez outran the baseball. Dribbler immediately scoot. Speed.
Man, he's fast.
Check out the Coors Light freeze cam. Ball still on the way, and the foot is on the bag already.
One reason Reynolds in the game because the Yankees have quite a few left-hand hitters. Started with Ichiro, you got Overbay, following Stewart, you got Gardner, and then Cano. This is why Kirk Gibson went to this left-hander at this stage of the ball game.
It's a strong bullpen. One of the better bullpens in baseball. Anchored down by J.J. Putz. David Hernandez, right-handers. Good stuff.
That was hard.
Brad Ziegler, they got Submarine, a couple lefties. Heath Bell has struggled.
You play the Yankees, you have a couple of good lefties in the bullpen. You can use them the right way, and you can neutralize a lot of the lineup. That's why when people ask, of all the injured Yankees, who would change the dynamic the most when he cut back? And you have to say it's Teixeira, because with his switch hitting in the middle of the lineup, you balance the whole lineup and make it tougher for a guy to bring in a lefty and not neutralize 3-4 guys in a row. Nice play there by Goldschmidt. Goes the second one on to first, a double play. Overbay hit it hard, but Goldschmidt turned it into a 3-6-3 double play. Interesting stat about switch hitters with the Yankees. You've got to come back and listen to this. A shocker as we go to the sixth. By your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. By Blimpie, America's Sub Shop. And by Acura. Acura Advance. The four coming and going as we go to the sixth inning. Yankees up 3-2. That's going to do it for Ivan Nova, as the Yankees will bring in Boone Logan. This will be Logan's fifth game. Now, we told you about switch hitters, and we got the stats today from Elias, which kind of made us take notice. With Teixeira on the disabled list, the Yankees don't have a switch hitter on their active roster. This is the first year the Yankees have gone this far into a season, 11 games, now 12, without a switch hitter coming to the plate for them since 1948. Wow. And they did not have a switch hitter the entire season that year.
Well, shortly thereafter, Mickey Mantle arrived on the scene. And
there you go, Mick.
The Mick was there for, what, 19 years? Played for the Yankees, maybe more.
Trying to think after Mick now.
Tom Treasure's on the team.
Perhaps.
Eventually you get down to the Bernie Williams territory.
What about the 70s? Oh, Sweet Lou and those guys.
Roy White was a switch hitter.
Roy White. Yeah. Nice pitch.
MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Yankees baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826, or you can visit Yankees.com for details. For the longest time, the Yankees had a switch-hitting catcher in Jorge Posada. A.J. Pollock 2 for 2 against Nova with 2 doubles.
Having switch hitters on your team, definite advantage for a manager. You don't have to make a late in-game moves. You don't have to burn up your bench.
Fly ball, right field. Ichiro is there. And when you look at right field, another switch hitter the Yankees had for all those years, Nick Swisher. So on a couple of Yankee teams, you had Teixeira, Swisher, and Posada. That's what you had in 2009 when they won a World Series. That means so much for a manager's maneuverability.
That's a pretty good one there.
He's getting up in Mickey Mantle territory with Eddie Murray. 3,000 hits, 500 homers.
Cliff Pennington takes a strike. Look, Kenny, Eddie Murray has that Bluetooth rocking, so if you call him, he'll go right on the air right now.
Yeah, his number's right over here.
He's ready for any call.
Yeah, he's not talking. He's talking to somebody else.
The 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not, said Phil Cousin. Mantle had the most home runs by a switch hitter, 536, followed by Eddie Murray and the great Chipper Jones in his first year of retirement. Sending out a lot of golfing and hunting tweets, Chipper Jones is.
Is he?
Yes.
Is that what he's doing?
The 2-2. Missed inside with a good fastball, 95 miles an hour.
That's the pitch right there, Mikey. You throwing a couple sliders, lock up. Good call. Somehow, the overhead look from behind home plate.
Three-two. That time with the breaking ball, drops it in for his called third strike. And Pennington down looking. Beautiful pitch by Logan. D-backs go down in order 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. All right, we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees lead 3-2. Reynolds still in there. Chris Stewart at the plate. Takes a strike. And I think he's pointing at something in the outfield.
It's got big white, I guess, is bothering him.
It just says Yankees on it, which maybe is ruining his batter's eye.
It might have flashed when the pitch was on the way to the plate.
No, I mean, it's...
Don't you think that's above the pitcher's arm, though, Al?
It should be, but that's really bright.
There we go.
Now they put a different slate up, which is darker, so he gave a thumbs up to that.
You know what they used to do at the old Municipal Stadium in Cleveland when the visitors were up with the rally going? Scoreboard was in this area, but it was a little lower, so they would flash things on the board as the pitch was coming in, distract the hitters.
That really helped the Indians in those days.
the old Municipal, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't do that.
It'd still be the 5th inning. Oh my goodness.
Nubbed in front of the plate, Montero gets Stewart. They retire the Yankee catcher for the first time. Here's Brett Gardner. He is 1 for 2 strikeouts. Sandwiched around a double to left center. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
Well, you notice when Gardner's at the plate, the infielders are in a step. It's not like when the bigger hitters are up, they'll go back on the grass, but they're guarding against his speed and ability to drop down the bunt.
There's a drag bunt. Reynolds off the mound quickly and just gets Gardner. Didn't bunt it hard enough to get it by the pitcher.
I still like it. I like it, Michael. Let's see what kind of finish that Reynolds has. He kind of falls a little toward third base. Some of the reasoning behind a guy like Gardner who could bunt just didn't get it far enough. You see the little shovel pass from Reynolds over first base. Bang, bang.
Yeah, if he gets it where Goldschmidt has to field the ball, I don't think Reynolds would have beaten him to the bag. So that he didn't, as you said, Michael said, and Al said, didn't bunt it hard enough.
Here's Cano. He is 2 for 2. Intentionally walked, 3-run home run. You know, we left out one switch hitter on that 2009 World Series team, Melky Cabrera. So they were loaded up and down that lineup with switch hitters.
It's like 2 players in one.
Teixeira, Swisher, Melky, and Posada. And I think Ramiro Pena was on that team.
At least for a while.
Yeah. There's Kenny calling Eddie Murray. Let's see if the call goes through. and he took your call.
Yeah, we better.
Hey, how you doing?
As Cano goes down looking, and that'll do it as Reynolds works a 1-2-3 inning. What was this conversation about? Kenny's got something in his ear, otherwise he'd tell us. We'll go to the 7th. your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 CR-V. Underneath the elevated tracks and inside the ballpark on the Cadillac scoreboard, it's 3-2. Yankees in front of the Diamondbacks. First game of this three-game set. Nova went 5. Logan pitched a 1-2-3-6. He's in there to start the 7th.
Have Jabba warming up and two right-handed hitters on deck.
This is it for Logan.
Might be.
Yankees in at the corners, guarding against the bunt. And a strike.
I know you hear managers that don't have two lefties say they'll have a right-hander that could get lefties out. I still think the two left-handers, it just negates a lot of potential moves from the opposing manager, or at least forces a move. You know, look here, Boone Logan looks really strong tonight with a couple strikeouts last inning. And you burn that one bullet.
Yeah. You got to use them at the right time. He struck out Hinsky, lefty, got Pennington. Now he's dealing with another left-hander in Parra.
Brad Ziegler up for Arizona. Rolled over on that one. Soft ground ball to second. And they get Parra for the first out of the 7th.
Nice job by Boone Logan.
And Joe Girardi is going to take the ball from his left-hander. Call on Jabba. So with Prado coming up, he'll go to the right-hander. Logan did what he had to do. 4 for 4 in his job. That makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. Wade Miley is going to go for the Diamondbacks. He's gotten off to a nice start. So is CC Sabathia. Now our coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with the pregame show on Yes. And then at 7 p.m. the game will be on My 9.
Should be a good one. Wade Miley, if it wasn't for Bryce Harper, that was your National League Rookie of the Year. 16 and 11. Nice, good looking young left-hander.
So Jabba has struggled 3 2/3 innings and 11 base runners with 5 hits and 6 walks. He struck out 4. Opponents hitting .385 against him. Really struggled in an outing in Cleveland, which kind of drove those numbers up. Trying to hold this 1-run Yankee lead. We talk about only one lefty in the bullpen for the Yankees, and Clay Rapata just tweeted that he threw a simulated game on Saturday, and he, quote, one step closer, still not on AAA roster, but he could be an option in the bullpen first week of May. He was with the Yankees last year. Prado takes a strike. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Sounds like May could be a merry month for the Yankees because they have several players scheduled to come back onto the active roster.
One and one. Fly ball right field. Ichiro Suzuki is there. 2 outs. Beautiful Tuesday evening here in New York City. Pitch is outside. Grounded up the middle. Nunez is there, gobbles it up, fires. Nice stretch by Overbay. So the Yankee bullpen doing a good job. Java comes on to get 2 batters. So 1, 2, 3 go the Diamondbacks at the end of 6.5. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. But we're going to keep it right here with the Yankees leading 3-2 as we will honor America in the Bronx.
And remove your caps. And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate. And welcome 2 honored guests of the New York Yankees. Air Force E-6 Technical Sergeant Jonathan Mullen from New York City, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant J.W. Portis from Sunset Park, Brooklyn, who also served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Yankees would like to say thank you, gentlemen, for sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
To the ocean.
The great rivalries, but how about the Braves start?
Wow,
huh? Can't lose almost.
Great pitching.
11-1, maybe 12.
The hitting's been fantastic.
That's going to be a race between them and the Nationals. Well, the Nationals 8-5.
They're losing tonight too.
Metsies are in second there, 7-4.
I remember Brad Ziegler with the Oakland A's. Unusual delivery.
Cadillac scoreboard has the Yankees up 3-2. Pitch outside to Euclid, 1-1.
Always good. You look at the stronger bullpens, a different complement of different pitchers. Obviously, if you, in this case with the D-backs, they have two left-handers. But Ziegler, unusual submarine guy.
Hot shot off the glove of Chavez, and into left field. That should be a base hit. We'll see how they score it. And they do score the base hit. Second hit for Euclid.
This is a rocket. You said it, Michael. Hot smash. Chavez, as good as anybody in the big leagues, just gets in position. Keeps his face away from it. One hopper.
He's a veteran.
Yeah. Get in front of it.
Well, now he moves over to the right side of the infield with Travis Hackman coming up. A lot farther away from the batter there. Although the Diamondbacks, an expansion team, you see David Robertson getting ready for the 8th. They have a rich history with the Yankees, and it just revolves around one World Series in 2001. And in a World Series, if you get one classic game that you remember forever, you go, wow, that's a good World Series. 2, it's out of this world. They had 3 all-time games. Bob Brenly was their manager, now their broadcaster. 3 all-time games. The 2 here across the street at the stadium with the 2 out home runs, and then the come from behind victory in Game 7 for the Diamondbacks to give the Diamondbacks a championship. But just an unbelievable World Series in 2001. Yankees were fortunate to win the 3 games because they had those clutch home runs. Look at the ERA. Look at the runs scored. Look at the batting average, but still it came down to the bottom of the 9th inning in Game 7.
Yeah, look at the 2 pitchers.
There's a hot shot down the right field line. A base hit for Hafner. It goes into the corner. Euclid rounding third. He'll stop right there. And Hafner picks up his 2nd double of the night.
That was not an excuse me double.
No.
He checked the swing, had a double back in the 4th inning. No checking his swing here. Middle down and rips it down the first base line just over the corner of the bag. Yeah, that's a fair ball. It might have hit the bag. Headed down into the corner where Cody Ross chased it down. There's Phil Cuzzy, the first base umpire, with the call. And the Yankees are in business here in the bottom of the 7th.
Infield in. And here is Wells. 1-0. Coming into this game, Ziegler had 6 straight scoreless outings. That's in danger. Yankees looking to give their bullpen some breathing room. They're up by 1, looking for more. 1-1.
Yankees have pounded out 12 hits in the game. The only player in the Yankee lineup without a hit is at the plate right now. And Vernon Wells drew a walk back in the 1st inning.
Youkilis at third, Hafner at second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the seventh. Infield in. 2-2.
See Ziegler doing the little scissor effect, his slider away, then that sinking fastball down and in. Vernon Wells is swinging over it. Infield in. Generally, overall, Major League Baseball batting averages go up about 50 points. Just trying to put the ball in play, preferably ground ball right side past that drawn in infield here. You got a little nice little spot here.
Here's where you need to tack on as the Diamondbacks or D-backs are running out of time here. We're in the latter stages of the game. They've got 6 outs basically to play with. And you're trying to tack on some more runs, make it that much more difficult.
Grounded to short. Pennington at the short hop holds the runner and gets Wells for the first out. With Ichiro due up, we'll see if they intentionally walk him to load the bases and set up a double play. And that's what they're going to do.
You know, one of the problems here, although you pass Ichiro to load the bases, you keep creating a force at any base. And Michael talked about the double play. Nunez is tough to double. He goes down the line very well. He'd have to hit a rocket at somebody to get the double play.
Still, I would take my chances with Ziegler. That submarine sidearm coming in on Nunez. I don't care Ichiro struggling or not. This guy's a pure hitter.
And there's ball 4. And that brings up Nunez. Nunez with a hustle single. Slow roll of the third in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. So the Diamondbacks will back up halfway at shortstop and second. And in at first, behind the bag at third. Now a little bit more than halfway.
Yeah, they are playing for the double play.
You've got to really turn it in a hurry for Eduardo Nunez. Yankees with just 3 runs because they're 1 for 7 with runners at scoring position. That one was Cano's 3-run home run. The Diamondbacks not much better. High fly ball, deep left center. The catch is made by Parra. Tagging is Youkilis. He will score. So Nunez gets a sac fly. Yankees get a run. It's 4-2.
Well, Kenny, you mentioned that tack-on run is huge in a ball game like this. Parra, you see lining up here. A.J. Pollock actually was lined up as well. Wouldn't have mattered. Plenty far enough at depth. Be able to score Youkilis.
Here's Lyle Overbay. 1 for 3. Tap back to Ziegler. And that will do it. But the Yankees tack on a run. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the 8th inning. It's 4-2 Bombers. Yankees lead 4-2. They have 12 hits. Diamondbacks 7. Cody Ross an RBI single for the Diamondbacks. Cano a 3-run home run for the Yankees. Nova right now, the pitcher of record on the winning side. 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So far, the bullpen has been outstanding for the Yankees. Boone Logan retired all 4 that he faced. Jabba Chamberlain retired the 2 that he faced in the 7th. And now they will turn it over to their 8th inning guy, David Robertson. And he will face 4, 5, and 6 in the Diamondbacks order. And if things go smoothly and the Yankees don't score a whole lot of runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, you see what Robertson's done this year, then when we will actually get to see the final number 42 in the history of baseball come in on a day that everybody's wearing number 42, and that's Mariano Rivera. Miguel Montero will face David Robertson. Montero is 0 for 1. A walk, a sac fly, and a ground ball to 7. 1-0. Hyundai scoreboard 4-2. The Yankees lead.
Before the game, I was talking with Yankee manager Joe Girardi, and he was talking about his 6 years as a player with the Colorado Rockies. He played for Don Baylor, who was his manager. And Don Baylor, congratulations to him. He's going into the Colorado State Hall of Fame on Thursday. He won't be here for Thursday's game. A former teammate of mine with Baltimore. His nickname was the Groove, because when he got in the groove, he could really match. I saw him hit 2 home runs in Boston, Fenway Park, final game of the series. Both over the Green Monster in left field. Last 2 times up in the series. Go to Detroit the next night. First 2 times up in Detroit in the upper deck. If you were sitting in that one seat, you could have caught both balls in the upper deck. So he basically hit 4 balls the same distance in 2 different cities, 4 straight home runs. He was in the groove.
The 1-2. Check swing. He does not go. It's that Chris Guccione, the third baseman.
You're tied to the groove in another way, too, aren't you kidding? 1979.
79, a lot of people think that Kenny should have won the American League MVP that year. But Baylor got it.
Baylor won it with the Angels. He led the league in RBIs and led the league in runs scored.
There's a base hit to right field. Ichiro cuts the ball off. Nice play. And Montero stays put at first.
Good job getting to that ball, cutting it off. Keeping the double play in order. Montero at first base. Get there quickly. Make sure that ball doesn't scoot to the wall. Nice job by Ichiro.
Here's Cody Ross. And a 93-mile-an-hour fastball strike.
That's a smooth delivery Robertson does so well. Cole Mentor warming up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Just sneaks up on hitters. That 0-1 fastball right there.
Boom, boom.
Cody Ross couldn't pull the trigger.
Popped up. Let's see if Overbay has a play. He does. For the first out. That'll bring up Chavez. Chavez 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out in the second, struck out in the third. Fly ball to center in the 5th. 2-0.
Trying to get that cut fastball, Robertson, in on the hands of Chavez, especially here at the stadium. Left-handed hitter, you'll make sure you get that in off the plate.
Two and one. Broken bat pop-up, shallow left, coming on as well as he makes the play. 2 men away. To vote for the Chevy player of the game, visit votechevy.com. Results will be revealed in the post-game show.
You know, Michael, we've always talked about left fielders here at Yankee Stadium having to possess center fielder skills because there's a lot of room to roam. And of course, Vernon Wells with the Blue Jays, you go back a few years, he was Gold Glove center fielder in Toronto, made some great plays, particularly going back on the ball. But this time coming in and makes a nice running catch in short left center field.
Eric Hinsky takes a breaking ball outside. Count 2-0. In fact, the Yankees have 3 outfielders that have played center field.
Yeah. The range factor is pretty high on those 3 out there. And we saw it on the hit by Montero, and Ichiro getting over and cutting the ball off before it got to the wall, holding it to a single, holding Montero to a single. And Wells flashing his speed on a short looper into left center.
Grounded right to Cano. They had him play beautifully. And a scoreless inning for David Robertson. No runs, a hit, no errors. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Stewart, Gardner, and Cano coming out. As Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty break down tonight's opener, plus Meredith Morakovitz with the reaction from the clubhouse and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Heath Bell. 5 games, he's gotten roughed up. 10 hits in 4 innings, 1 walk. Really struggled last year with the Marlins after signing a big money contract. Used to be a closer. He's not a closer anymore, especially not on this team. But trying to find the skills that seem to have eluded him the last couple of years.
It seems if you signed a big money contract with the Marlins last year, you're on your way out of town after the season was over.
Well, especially with an ERA over 5, coming in as a closer, did a good job with San Diego a few years. Not last year. Keith Bell had a tough time down there in Miami.
Hyundai scoreboard, Yankees lead 4-2. As Mariano warming up in the bullpen. Chris Stewart 2 for 3 tonight. He leads off. Pitch is low, 1-0. Now, despite having a really rocky year last year, since 2009, Bell leads all major league relievers with 152 saves. Somewhat skewed because Mariano Rivera missed 5 months last year. Count 2-1. Here's how it breaks down. He had 19 last year, but before that, 43-11. 47-10, 42 in 09. And he was an all-star for 3 years running. Count 2-2.
Quite the personality, Heath Bell. Remember him as a young minor league farmhand with the Mets. Had a couple chances in spring training. Eventually moved on to San Diego. Velocity's just not the same, Michael. You know, you could talk about what happened in Miami and what a mess that was overall, but you know, watching him right here, Kenny, this guy a couple years ago, he was 95, 96, 97.
And he strikes out Stewart for the first out.
Yeah, end up giddy up on that one and get by Stewart on a 3-2 pitch.
Straight over the top. I think what got Stewart on this were those 2 curveballs at the beginning of the at-bat. No, it's enough. It's just, you know, that elite closer status that he was. To me, that's a little short.
Yeah, when you look at strikeouts per innings pitch, you know, the elite closers always many more strikeouts than innings pitch.
Brett Gardner takes a strike, along with Ken Singleton, Al Leiter, and Meredith Morakovitz. I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening, watching Yankees baseball on Yes. Yankees lead 4-2. First game of this 3-game interleague set.
I think right now we're talking about closers. The elite guys striking people out. Craig Kimbrell of Atlanta. Last year he struck out over 50% of the hitters that he faced. It's like going up here without a bat.
Speaking of closers, I'm glad the Reds decided to keep Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
You know, that talk about hitting him in spring training maybe starting. You talk about exciting. Hit 102, 103, 105.
Didn't he want to go back to close? They were stretching him out to be a reliever. He requested to go back to the bullpen.
I mean, how could you not, Michael? I mean, you know, just how dominant he was. Not just only the job that he did, but explosive.
Looped into left field. Foul ball. And what do you think is more valuable? A shutdown closer or a #1 starter?
I'm looking out here as hopefully we get a chance to see Mariano Rivera to pitch. You know, where the Yankees would be all those years without Mariano. Where would they be?
I don't think they'd have the 5 championships, but I mean, how many people have 19 years of a career as a closer?
True, but if you're talking about a dominant closer, as I think Aroldis Chapman is, whatever that window is, I don't think anybody's going to be able to duplicate or come close to what Mariano's done. I don't know.
What do you think, Kenny?
I think that a closer is a psychological weapon.
Gardner goes around.
And I think that all these years, the opponents have known who's in the bullpen for the Yankees in the 9th inning when there's a save on the line. And Mariano, I think 90% save rate during the course of his career. So 90% of the time, you're going home a loser when he comes in the game. So if you have that type of security blanket in your bullpen, and if Chapman is that good, leave him out there.
Mariano is poised to come in as Robinson Cano digs in.
Because he's more of an everyday weapon, you know, as opposed to, he's almost like an everyday player, as opposed to a starter who goes once every 5 days.
You know, not to mention, Kenny, as you say that, you're so right. I think about the great, but look at this. Wonder who do they value there?
I don't think they're taking a picture of Mike Harkey.
Although he might show up in the picture.
No, but as opposing managers, right? You come into a series, you got Mariano, you have a good quality setup guy. You manage to hopefully be in the lead by the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah.
Or in many instances, you say, okay, we lost this game.
And you're hoping your bullpen can hold on.
0-2.
The closest thing that I came to as far as a strong bullpen in the back end was when Dwayne Ward set up Tom Henke. It was a 6-inning start.
Yeah, that was a pretty good twosome in Toronto.
Yeah, and it wasn't a long window, but during that 3 or 4 year window.
Well, that's what the Yankees had in '96. Mo would pitch the 7th and the 8th, and Wetman would pitch the 9th. So it was a 6-inning game. Takes a lot of pressure and stress off your starters. Well, Robinson Cano gave the Yankees the lead with a 3-run home run in the 4th inning on a changeup from Brandon McCarthy, and they're holding on to that lead. They added a run in the 7th. Here in the bottom of the 8th, 2 outs, nobody on. And how about Heath Bell striking out the side? Stewart goes down, Gardner goes down, and Cano goes down. The last man to wear 42 in the big leagues is coming in the 9th. Winning series Yankeeography chronicles one of the greatest executives and best minds of the game, Gene Stick Michael. It's a new Chevy Presents Yankeeography Thursday at 11, only on Yes. Mariano Rivera warms up. A lot of phone pictures being taken, but watch this. This will tickle your funny bone. This young lady is actually taping Mariano. Oh, and then James calls, and James gets completely dispatched.
It's just funny. It's a text, Michael.
Was it a text?
I think so.
Actually, it wasn't.
Well, let's tie it all together. Robinson Cano, named after Jackie Robinson, hits a home run. He's wearing 42, just like everybody else playing in a game today that didn't play yesterday to honor Jackie Robinson breaking into the big leagues on April 15th, 1947. Here's the last man grandfathered in to wear that number. When he retires at the end of the year, it will never be worn again by a Major League Baseball player except on April 15th. And now, in a game the Yankees are leading 4-2, number 42 is trying to close this out.
God, I'm weepy. Give me a tissue. That's beautiful.
Man can tie a package, can he?
Here's the 0-1. 0-2.
Still has that cutter. Maybe it's not 95 to 98. Tough to square up.
Just missed outside.
That's what it was designed to do, make him chase it. Thought about it.
And the pitch. Now, how did the little puppy get in here?
See a heck of a game.
So A.J. Pollock hanging in there against Mariano.
Pollock's had himself a nice night. Doubles his first 2 times up. Don't lean out there too quickly.
Pollock 6 years old when Mariano began his Major League career. And you were seeing a lot of that this year. Youngsters who only know about Mo, watching him growing up, all of a sudden digging in to a batter's box and trying to get hits. And Pollock continues to battle. Swing and a miss, got it. One away.
Beautiful. Couple cutters away, then he jammed him. Fighting it off, Pollock tried. Cutter away. Here is the beautiful pitch Mariano's done so often in his career.
Here's Cliff Pennington. One and 0. Mariano, after his injury in May, missed the rest of the season last year. Did not want to go out on a golf cart in Kansas City. Decided to make this his final year. He's being honored in every ballpark when he goes in there for the final time, and every time he comes here at Yankee Stadium, people snapping pictures and trying to help their memory by adding something solid to it. Not just in the mind, but on the camera. Count 2-1. High pop-up. Over Bay. 1 out away.
Well, I was talking about the pitch that Mariano's thrown over the years. You think you have it squared up, and he knows what's going on here. Overbay's got it. He's headed back to the dugout before he catches it. Ball darts in just when you think you have it squared up. It comes in and just grabs the handle of your bat as a left-handed hitter.
Here is Gerardo Parra. 1 for 4 tonight. Single. stolen base, run scored. 4-2 Yankees lead. Grounded to Cano. This should do it. And the Yankees win. So Mariano Rivera comes on to close it out. As the Yankees win this one 4-2 on a day when everybody wears number 42, including the man who's only wore number 42 in his career. Grandfathered in when a guy's 43 years old. You could actually say grandfather. He's not at that point yet, but still pitching beautifully. Mariano picks up the stage. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. So a 3-run home run by Cano and 3 up, 3 down by Rivera here in the 9th inning, and the Yankees win the first game of this 3-game Major League set. We still have so much more to do. We have an award to give out to Bob Lorenz and John Flaherty in the postgame. Stick around. Yankees win 4-2.